Welcome to Tighten Upload Live. We're going through the schedule, and this is for real this time. This is for real as we go through it. So I'm giving you my honest takes here. Honesty. This is not going to be the same Denver Bronco team from last year. They're better, actually. But there's one good news for us. A lot of rookie talent they're depending on. And with this whole sickness thing, they're just getting training camp. So I expect the Denver Broncos to be I think they'll be 8-8. They're going to get off to a slow start, and they're going to get off to a slow start versus your Tennessee Titans. I think the Tennessee Titans go in there on a Monday night game. Jarrell Casey will have his team fired up, ready to go. But I think the Tennessee Titans, honestly, it might be a slow start. But I think this is the game where you got your Derrick Henry, you got your Ryan Tannehill, you got your A.J. Brown, and Jonnu Smith's going to be huge this year. Broncos have 2 running backs now. 2 running backs. That is a concern. But Locke, I think he struggles a little bit in this game. He shines at times, but he struggles. I got the Tennessee Titans winning the game, okay? No fly zone exposed. Chris Harris Jr. is not coming back for the Broncos. Again, it's getting to the Broncos early. It's making them play a different type of game than they want to play. Put it all on Locke from the beginning. I don't care. Just go up 14-0, make Locke beat you, all right? And his rookie wide receivers, which are going to take some time, right? They're going to take some time to get going. Takes the running element out. So I got the Tennessee Titans winning week 1. I got us 1-0. Here we go. Week 2. Yes, the Jacksonville Jaguars come to town. This game scares me. Okay. Now it doesn't scare me as much because Yannick got traded for a 2nd and a 5th today to Minnesota. So that just weakens them a little bit, but we didn't typically play very good going back to Nissan Stadium for the home opener last year against the Colts. Now, Ryan Tannehill, yes, we're super excited about that. And just give the ball to Derrick Henry 30 times, and I think you beat the Jaguars. Okay. But I still think the Jaguars they're younger. I think they'll be more feistier. They'll bring more energy. But their coaching is pretty much the same. So I think that is very important for us, just to run punts, run punts, and make them make mistakes. Yes, Tannehill, play action, bomb, good, fine. But don't go in there and throw it 50 times. Don't go in there like we did against Carolina and just throw it all over the yard, right? Take your time with it. Okay, now it is a short week, so we're coming off the late Monday night game. I think it starts at 9:30, and then we'll turn around and play the Jaguars, but at least it's at home. So it's a little bit of a short week for us. Probably won't really get into anything until Wednesday, which I think is probably normal anyways. And then you just got to limit the sacks and the turnovers. That's the only reason why Jacksonville plays well against us is when they sack us and they create turnovers. Remember Dory Jackson last year? Yeah, he's not going to be returning punts. I think we're okay. So let's go ahead. Let's mark it with a win. I think it's going to be closer than you think. But the Tennessee Titans, everyone, are going to be 2-0 heading to Minnesota. And I'll tell you why it concerns me. Is because typically we don't play well against Minnesota. We just don't. And we don't play well at Minnesota. I mean, I can't even tell you the last time we won at Minnesota, realistically. Now, the Vikings lead the series 9-4. This surprises me somewhat, right? Because the Packers, we lead the series, and I was quite shocked on that one. Because usually, historically, the Packers have been pretty good over the years. The Vikings have been hit or miss. But I'm telling you, we don't play well at Minnesota. Now, there's no fans. So that's why I have no fans in Minnesota. That gives us maybe a little bit of advantage. You still probably have to hear the Viking horn and all that stupid stuff, but you're not going to have to worry about the crowd noise. So that's a good thing. The thing that concerns me, the Vikings can do things that many teams cannot. They got a running back named Cook who can not only run it down your throat, but he also can catch it out of the backfield. Traditionally, Jayon Brown has been very good, but traditionally the Titans have struggled versus backs that are throwing it out of the backfield. Now, our big test was last year at New England, and we held up fine. So can we do it again? Yes, I'm confident Vrabel can, but that's a little bit of a concern. The second thing, their defense just got a heck of a lot better. Now, Hunter may not be fully healthy, and that's a mystery down in Minnesota. Is that why they made the play for the second round and the fifth rounder to bring the Jaguar Yannick Ngakoue in? I don't know. But if both of those guys are healthy and they're ready to go, the best way we can do it is run it at them. But I think if you go and look at the stats, they are 9th against the run. It's not going to be that easy down in Minnesota. The Vikings have won the last 7 out of 8 versus the Titans. That's a fact. So I got us 2-1, and it's going to get a little rough, guys, because then come the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, if Big Ben's out already, then don't worry about it. I think we'll win. If Big Ben is back, he's going to present a little bit of challenge for us and our defense. Again, what you're going to notice down in Pittsburgh when we do some of these preview videos, a lot of teams want to run the ball this year. The Titans, believe it or not, kind of made a little blueprint out there how you can be successful with not necessarily the top elite guys. The concern with the Steelers is I really honestly believe they're going to be the number 1 defense. Now, I don't think they're going to be as good as the Baltimore Ravens back with Ray Lewis and all that stuff, but I'm telling you, they're good. Their offense was a train wreck last year when Big Ben went down. We all know that, right? But their defense was still 5th best. Their defense almost alone put them into the playoffs. Almost alone. That's almost impossible to think about. They had the duck caller playing, Rudolph. I mean, some of these guys couldn't get 80 yards in a game. I think this one's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a battle. But here's the concern I have. Last year we played the Steelers in week 3 of the preseason, where your starters go out for about a half. Now, both sides decided to play roughly a quarter and maybe a series, and they got out really early. Guys, we got physically manhandled in that game. We got dominated in the beginning. Now, you can blame Marcus Mariota for that, fine. And our line was different, right? We didn't have Lewan. He was with the second team in the preseason. Saffold took it to like week 7 to get going, right? And he really struggled in the beginning. We didn't have a right guard. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of that. But I still think the Steelers are another physical football team that we're gonna have to prove ourselves with. When we had Chris Johnson on Fan to Fan Network, we asked him, what was the one, or you guys asked him, or somebody asked him, what was the one team that like he hated going against? Who did he say? The Pittsburgh Steelers. It's just something about the Steelers, okay? So I'm actually really high on the Steelers this year. I think they're going to be really good. I got them winning the AFC North, but maybe this is the game where you miss a kick or a kick gets blocked. You know what I mean? It's not the end of the season. It's going to be our bump in the road. I'll just tell you that. Five. And you know what that means? Every week 5 for the last 3 years or maybe 20 years, we've played the Buffalo Bills. Oh my gosh. And we play awful versus the Bills. It's like the Ravens, right? The Bills typically present challenges that the Ravens did to us where they make us beat ourselves. Last year, we scored like 3 touchdowns and they all got called back for penalties. The year before, it was Nick Williams who dropped the ball. I mean, but even before that, I mean, the first play of the game, we threw a little slant pass. Taywan Taylor, I mean, I hope he does well. But I think that was a really good move to get him out of here, right? So Taywan Taylor's gone, but he really set the tone for that game by fumbling. And then this past year, Allen had a concussion against the Bills, and then they decided to play him, which I was shocked. He didn't do a whole lot, but when it counted, he did. This is the game I think the Titans have circled, and I think the Titans actually will show up and finally show the Bills what the Titans are made of. Because I think, honestly, deep down, you guys, I don't think the Bills respect the Titans. And I think the Bills looked at our playoff run and said, well, that could have been us, but we, lost the game to the Texans and they came back and, beat them or whatever. I think the Bills and their fans even don't give us enough respect. I think they think it's going to be a cakewalk again. They're going to come in, dominate. But you know what? They can't bring fans this time to Nissan Stadium. And again, 3 years in a row, we're not losing 3 years in a row to the Bills, okay? We're not. We're just not. Now we play the Texans. Now there's no more Hopkins. And remember last year, we had Derrick Henry, which had a hamstring issue. He could barely run. He couldn't run to the outside. Tannehill marches the team right down the field. And I don't know why. I love Arthur Smith, but I don't know why he decided to throw the ball there on the 1st and 5 or whatever at the 5-yard line where he threw a slant to Ferkser and he bounced off of him and then they picked it off and ran it all the way back almost for a touchdown. Guys, that ain't happening again to us. I think we realistically found a nice theme, even though we played their backups at Houston. And I'm not scared of Houston. I'm not. I mean, Houston, if we're going to win the division, like everybody thinks we are, like Titan fans, we all think we'll win the division. We can't go into Houston or play Houston at home and be afraid of these guys. And I'm not saying we were last year, but I mean, this was a measuring stick for us last year. We had to battle all the way back to get to this game. And then we let Deshaun Watson go up and down the field for the most part against us in the second half. And the Texans end up winning the game 24-21 or whatever it was. And so all these games were games at home versus the Texans. That's not like all the games in general. And I'll go back to the Texans later on. But you can see we've played okay. We won 3 in a row against them at home. And then we obviously lost last year to them. But we did beat them at third place. I think this is the one we do win. We will beat them at home. Now we got the Tennessee Titans on a little win streak here. We got a little home cooking. We win 2 in a row. And now we go on to Cincinnati after the bye week. So we know we play pretty well after the bye week. So this should be no difference going up to Cincinnati. So the Bengals, honestly, just don't make it hard. Just go run the football, win the game. Run the football, win the game, keep everybody healthy, move on to the next game. Play fundamentally sound. No turnovers, but obviously no stupid penalties, no personal fouls, no pass interferences. Just play the game and play it the right way like Vrabel wants you to. Don't go in there and worry about beating them 50-0. Just win the game, get it over with, move on to the next week and stay. So now the Titans have won 3 in a row, according for us. Let's keep this moving. And then we can get to your comments. Boom. The Chicago Bears come to Nissan Stadium. And I'm telling you, the Chicago Bears, for all of you that think this is going to be a cakewalk because they're going to have Foles or Trubisky, you got another thing coming. The Bears and Mac plays really well against the Titans. And their defense is going to be very good this year like they were last year and the year before. Here's the thing that's scary about the Bears. They should have beat the Eagles in the playoffs 2 years ago at Soldier Field. Parkey kind of ruined it for him. Let's just be honest. He should have made that kick. It was a 41-yarder. There's no reason why he missed that kick. They would have went on, I think, to play the Rams in the second round of the playoffs, and they probably would have lost that game, but it would have been close because I think they beat the Rams during the year at Soldier Field. My point is the Bears were really good that year. They won the North. They did it with sound defense, just enough offense. Don't overlook the Bears. And the Bears, again, just like Minnesota, they can be very physical. Now, the difference between Minnesota and the Bears is, for whatever reason, the Bears just don't want to run the football when they need to run the football. It's 3rd and 1. They're running double reverses. So, I think they'll figure it out. Their running back's hurt. He got hurt. He had the groin pull. They said 2 to 4 weeks. I think it's going to be a little bit longer how he looked in practice, Montgomery. But again, I think the Bears defensively will get a couple turnovers and make you turn it over. They're going to put a lot of pressure on Tannehill. And this is one of those games too where Nate Davis, your right guard, maybe Wilson will be starting then. I think he will by this game. This is one of those games where these guys get exposed because the Bears will find a way to come off that edge of the right side and put pressure on it. I think your only possible way to kind of diffuse that situation is just Derrick Henry goes nuts, and that's a possibility. So I think this game will also be close, but you got to be patient, and I think the Titans can. You got to treat it like Jacksonville back in the day: run, punt. Don't do anything stupid. Don't throw the ball around the yard in the beginning and think you're just going to go up and down the field against the Bears because, again, they used to have a guy named Peanut Tillman back in the day who punch it out. They still got guys that can make plays in the secondary. Okay, Eddie Jackson's he's pretty good. So again, the Bears, I think they beat the Titans. I know I'm going to get a lot of slack on this one, but I think the Bears will beat the Titans. Okay, at home for the Colts here. I actually think the Tennessee Titans will finally beat the Colts at home. It's been a while since 2017 on the Monday night game when Mariota had the hamstring. I think the Titans found something in the armor to find to beat the Colts last year. They were patient again, special teams, with the blocked field goal return for a touchdown, kind of broke the Colts' soul, the long pass to Raymond. The Colts are going to come in with that offensive line, guys, and they think Phillip Rivers is the real deal. Now, Bringing the Juice podcast, they're almost at 3K. They've been tearing it up. I think they have like 600 subs in a week. I mean, unbelievable stuff coming from over there. And they're really cool guys, and I like them a lot with Fan to Fan Network. But they are way too high on the Colts right now. They are way too high on Phillip Rivers. I hear over and over, well, he had great practices. He had a great scrimmage. He's the back. He's a real deal. Here's the thing that I said to Jack as well. You guys played Rivers week 1, Colts fans, and you told me, you guys were saying this all the time. You'd said, oh my goodness, Phillip Rivers, how did we lose? He was throwing lollipops all over the place. Week 1. You know it's true. Look in the mirror. You know it's true. He was throwing lollipops all over the place. The guy doesn't have that arm anymore like he used to. But I can give you some hope, Colts fans, because Phillip Rivers, if he does find it like you've been telling me, then the Titans are in trouble, because we know the Titans don't play well against Phillip Rivers. I mean, he almost came in with the Chargers last year, but we were in disarray. I mean, we were coming off that terrible game against the Broncos. We just got Tannehill back for the starting quarterback job. So, again, I think we would have played them later in the season. We destroy the Chargers. But I like the Titans in this one. I do. Let's go. Rivers is just, I think he's going to struggle. I don't even know if he'll be playing this week, because the Colts offensive line, I'll argue, is probably your best offensive line in the league. And Rivers will have a little bit more time. But I'm just telling you, if he wants to dink and dunk, fine. I mean, but if he's going to, you guys are talking about these long shots down the field, and you're going to make all these plays down the field with Campbell and all that stuff, I still think he's going to struggle a little bit throwing the ball down the field. And you're going to see it. And as long as you're winning, you're going to love him. But when you guys start losing, you imagine losing week 1 to the Jaguars, which I don't think is going to happen at all. But Phillip Rivers, I think you're going to look at him from the other side. You're going to look for him, but not with the glass half full. You're going to look at, hey, half empty kind of stuff. I'll be wrong and I'll eat my words, but I think the Titans get it done week 10 against the Colts. Let's keep it going. Week 11. Oh, the rematch. Baltimore Ravens should have been Sunday Night Football, but the Tennessee Titans get disrespected, and then nobody wants to see them on Sunday Night Football. Shocked we even were playing the Packers there, okay? Here's the deal with the Ravens. The Ravens play like 3 back-to-back, or maybe even 4 back-to-back primetime games or Monday night, Sunday night stuff. So this game will not be flexed. I know a lot of you thought it would be flexed but they won't. They will not put the Ravens on 5 primetime games in a row. So that's just not going to happen. So again, this is revenge. It's all over it, man. This game is not going to be fun for the Titans. This is probably your Titans stinker, where your Titans go into this game coming off the big win against the Colts, which really matters for the division. And now we come in and it's time to step back up against the Ravens, except it's not for a playoff game. It's just for a regular season game. I like the Steelers to win the division. So I think the Ravens at this point will be grinding in the season, maybe lose a couple games they shouldn't have. How big of an impact's that going to be with them losing, Earl Thomas and all that kind of stuff? I think they will find out. But I'm telling you, the Ravens will be ready for this game, because the Ravens thought they would just show up and beat the Tennessee Titans. And what happened? The Tennessee Titans showed up and punched them in the mouth, and they did it over and over. And we were waiting for the Ravens. The Ravens will be like, yeah, we put up great stats. We did really good. Like Lamar Jackson went over 500 yards. The Titans got lucky. No, the Titans physically beat you up. They made it so hard for you to do anything. They made it where you had to go for it on 4th and 1s, which you never did that all. I mean, for most of the season, you just played out of your game. It wasn't as easy as it was. I mean, you were playing typically against little kids, and finally, somebody showed up that was equal to you, and they beat you down. And that's what happened in that game. Okay. I'm not sugarcoating it. I mean, we physically beat them up, and they can make excuses. Fine. But this year, a little bit different. I still think the Ravens are a good football team. I think they've learned their lesson. They will not take the Titans lightly in this game, and they will personally show up. And I think it's going to be a grind for the Titans. I see it like one of these games. The Titans show up, they score first, they're up 7-0, and then some fluke play happens where, a tip pass gets returned for a touchdown, or the Ravens score on some fluke play where we had Jackson in the backfield. He takes off and throws it to who knows who, and then they run it in for a touchdown or something like that. Maybe Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown. And then the wheels will start to fall off. And then you get Derrick Henry out of there. Maybe you get Ryan Tannehill out of there, and you just kind of take the L here and you move on. Because at the end of the day, this game will be huge for the seeding of the AFC. But if you're not close, I'm not showing the Ravens anything that they can use against you in the playoffs. And, you get them by surprise again, because if they beat you 33-7 during the regular season, you go in there and punch them in the mouth again because they're going to take you lightly. I just see it in one of those games. I hope I'm wrong. Like the Indy game a couple years ago, we went into Indy. We came off the win at Dallas, and we beat New England at home. And then we went to Indy, and we just laid an egg. I just see one of those games right here. I apologize. I'm not trying to be rude for the Titans here, but I'm being truthful. I just don't see us going into Baltimore again with that energy. I think the Titans will go in there. They'll put up a little bit of a fight early. The game will get away. Ravens end up walking away with a win. Titans lose number 4. So let's keep this thing going. All right. I'm probably shocking you. Right now we're on par for 9-7. We'll see if we get there. We go to the Colts. I ruined it earlier. I told you there's going to be another bump in the road. I don't know what it is about Indianapolis. At first it was Peyton Manning, then it was Andrew Luck. I mean, the Tennessee Titans at Indianapolis since the year 2000 have lost 14 football games in Indianapolis, and most of them aren't even close. I still think this is going to be one of your games where you could win special teams. Tannehill could show up and play a monster game and you get out with a win. But I think the Colts will be just a little bit more with that offensive line. They'll kind of catch a little bit more breaks. They're at home. I know there's not a crowd there, but I see this one our loss. This is our split with the Colts. I think they win one, we win one. We both defend home, even though it doesn't make sense this year. And the end of the year, the Colts will have the series lead again on us 35-18. So that's what I got. So that's number 5. Losses right now for the Titans. We are going towards that 9-7. So we got a couple games left here to end the year. Here's the Cleveland game. Somebody was asking about the Browns. The media is already back again behind the Browns. He's going to have Beckham back. Landry's going to be back. They got the new tight end, which is a concern for me a little bit in this game with Hooper. They got the backfield with Hunt, and then they got Chubb, who was the second leading rusher last year. I mean, they physically, if you look at the roster, this is a typical Madden roster where you would look at it and be like, oh my gosh, they're not bad. But coaching has been an issue for whatever reason. Okay? Coaching has been an issue. So when you look at it going forward with this, again, Baker Mayfield could just light it up this year. He's got all the weapons in the world. Jack Conklin. I mean, he's going to have a pretty good right tackle. I'm really going to miss Jack this year, so I do wish him the best. But why did the Browns lose this game? Because they're not going to be able to stop the run. That's why. 30th in the rush last year in 2019. The Titans, 3rd best. So this is a mismatch up front. And I think Arthur Smith has learned a couple things, and he's kind of already thrown them out to you guys. He said, hey, look, we are going to throw the football this year. We are going to change it up a little bit. No, you're not. You're going to do the same style. Henry loves his zone right, zone left. He's going to use that. They're going to exploit that all over the place. And then they will do the play action up and down the field. Tannehill's going to keep doing his thing. A.J. Brown's going to finally get open a few times here. And they're going to beat the Browns, okay? Now, last year, it was a blowout. I expect it to be a little bit closer this year. got us beating the Browns, so that's some good news. So now we move back into Jacksonville. Guys, we're going to Jacksonville. We remember last year what happens. For whatever reason, we split with the Jaguars all the time. Not this time. We are going to beat them pretty sound. By then, I think the Jaguars are about ready to mail it in. I think they're going to be finding a new coach at the end of the year. Maybe talk about moving back to London. Who knows? But I think the Tennessee Titans will go in there, and I think this is a game. Derrick Henry is going to kind of pick up more steam here. Maybe they start to give him a few more carries, and the Titans are going to use their philosophy. They're not going to go in here and do crazy things. They're going to run at you, throw in the play action like we usually do, and walk out with a win. Find a way to pull this one out. So the Titans take care of the Jaguars, and yes, get the brooms out. We sweep them. We move on. So here we go. It's Lions time. And I didn't really realize that we played really well against the Lions. I think we've won, I want to say 7 out of 9 or last 7 out of 8 or something worth against the Lions. It's been pretty good for us. So when we look at the Lions, the last game was really crazy. We know the Mariota throw to Andre Johnson to win it, which was an insane play. Titans found a way to bounce them back into that game. I'll be honest with you, Stafford he's good. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league until he got hurt last year. But will he even be playing this game? So if you want to make a case for the Lions, I know Micro Mike will, and Dos Dion, those guys are Lion guys. They do a really good job, by the way. So shout out to those guys. But they will tell you that maybe, the Lions with Stafford, they can come in, maybe the Swifts, doing some things. But I'm telling you, that division with the Bears, they're going to bounce back this year. I don't care who their quarterback is. They're just going to bounce back. Trent Dilfer. It didn't matter. The Ravens had Trent Dilfer. And then you have the Packers, which I think will be pretty good. And then you got the Vikings, which I think the Vikings are going to be really good now. So when you look at those 3 teams, there's not room for another one. You're not going to have 4 really, really good teams. They're going to beat each other up. I think the Lions are going to be the ones that come up a little bit short here. I actually think if the Lions were to pull off a win here, it's going to be because of Patricia. I think Patricia will be his last year coach, and he's on the hot seat, I think. And by this time, his season might be already over. He might already know his fate. He may not be around for this game. But if he is, I think he's going to be ready to play. I think he's going to have his team ready to play. He's going to want to show Vrabel he's for real. This could be a new coaching gig for another job for this play against the Titans. So maybe they come in high energy for this. But that's it. I mean, I can't give the Lions any more hope. I think the Titans get a win. And here we go. Off to our first Sunday night football game since the Colts play-in game a couple years ago. But this is the one we've earned. This isn't any, flex schedule. This is us Packers. And this one will be fun. This is going to give us our first playoff. You'll know this game. This is the game where you'll look at it and be like, yep, Titans are going to be for real in the playoffs. It's cooking time. Here we go. This is probably your last game you see the Titans play, actually. I actually think they're going to have the divisions wrapped up on Sunday Night Football, so they'll know the games ahead of them, and they'll end up playing. I just want to double check and make sure the Colts aren't playing on Monday Night Football that week. But if they're not, I think we're in good shape here. So week 16, they are playing the Pittsburgh Steelers at a 1 o'clock game or noon game, depending on it. So they're at Pittsburgh. So they'll probably even lose that game. I think we have the division wrapped up by this. So after we beat the Packers, we're going to celebrate. I think we rest a lot of guys, and we're moving on to the playoffs. I really do. So this game is going to give us the test. And I think the Titans will be up for it. It's going to be cold weather. This will be a ground and pound with Derrick Henry. The one issue that I don't like going into Green Bay is we played quite well against the Packers. I know we got destroyed that one year, like 55-7, but for the most part, we played pretty well against them. But when you look at the Packers, Aaron Jones, a guy who can run the ball and catch it out of the backfield. I mean, he might have 88 yards receiving and 88 yards rushing. I mean, he might have 2 touchdowns receiving, two touchdowns rushing. He can do it all, and we don't usually play well, like I mentioned earlier, against backs out of the backfield when you throw it to him. So that is going to be a big concern for us. Aaron Rodgers, will he be playing this game? I don't know. But my goodness, the Tennessee Titans, I think LaFleur, he has a little impact on this game, but I think the Titans, how much is the offense the same when LaFleur's here? I know we do a few things, few wrinkles. I know LaFleur will be up for this one, but I think Vrabel will be up more. And Vrabel, you got LaFleur, he gave him a shot. LaFleur leaves the first year. That's got to hurt as a coach. And then he goes to Green Bay. And he leads his team all the way to the NFC Championship game. And Vrabel did the same thing. But I'm telling you, it's got to sting a little for Vrabel. They brought him in. There was some high hopes. I mean, honestly, Vrabel didn't have to worry about the offense with LaFleur, with his background with the Rams, we thought. And it's been really, who would have thought? Arthur Smith, he's been a guy that we're more confident with than this guy. So, again, what will the Packers be at this point? I still think they're going to be decent, but I think the Titans will end up Sunday Night Football. It's a big thing, man. I mean, Bayard, I think these guys will be ready to go. So I like the Titans, maybe like a 20-17 win at Green Bay, and they're going to clinch the division. So that means we're on to the final week, which I already gave it away as we're going to wrap it up here. The Tennessee Titans will go into Houston. Houston will repay the favor. We'll bench our guys, and the Texans will end up winning this game. And the Tennessee Titans will be ready for the playoffs. Now, I don't know if we'll get a bye. We're not going to get a bye anyway. So this is going to be interesting, guys, because there's going to be really no fans. We could be going in a bubble, actually, for the NFL. And I honestly, if there's not a vaccine, I really think they will. They'll go in a bubble somewhere, and they'll play these games. But I think the Titans, for this game in particular, and a lot of the teams around the NFL, if you're not a certain seed, and it's not really going to change a whole lot because there's only one bye with the 7 teams, this game is kind of useless, right? So we'll be 10-6, and I don't know if that's going to change a whole lot for the seeding. That will mean that we'll get a home playoff game, but it's going to be in the bubble, I think, so it's not really going to mean much. Go figure, right? It seems to be that's the case. But at the end of the day, I think this is just one of those games. So I could break it down, but there's really no point. I mean, Trevor Siemian will be playing this game. A lot of the backups, Evans, maybe this is a game where they let Corey Davis play. Who knows? But I think the Titans, they're going to lose, and they're just going to lose because they're going to bench everybody. I think they're going to be ready to go week 1. Henry won't play this game. Tannehill's not playing, and I think it's the right decision. I do. This time, I do, because you're not getting the bye, so you're playing next week anyways. Get everybody rested up. It worked with the Saints when you rested Henry, so I don't see why it wouldn't work here. So for the division, I went through all their schedules. This is what I came up with, wins and losses. I got the Tennessee Titans at 10-6, winning the division, and they're going to clinch by week 17 anyways. Doesn't matter what the Colts do in week 17. They play the Jaguars, so they open against the Jags. They close with the Jags. But the Colts will make the playoffs at 9-7. Texans will just miss it at 8-8. And the Jaguars, I actually gave UCF Jaguar a win just for being UCF Jaguar because I love that guy, what he does over there for the Jaguars. He's a guy who very passionate. I think he's got more subscribers than the Jaguars do on their YouTube channel. So, but at the end of the day, I know deep down the guy's realistic and he knows the Jags are going to struggle. So I gave them a win just for having UCF Jaguar. The Jaguars will finish 3-3.
I'm Titan Upload, and you're watching Fan to Fan Network, the voice that fans deserve. Tighten up.